How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, before I get started, I haven't been feeling well, so I haven't been doing videos for the last few days. I just want the royal family to know. Y'all know I live in chronic pain, so sometimes it gets me down and I have to take care of my immediate situation. I'm still under the weather, but I'm starting to my pain issues is starting to die down a bit. So I was just letting the royal family know what was going on with me. Other than that, let's continue on. So earlier today on Facebook, in my news feed, I had seen that schools want to get back into corporal punishment. And so I said, well, let me do some research, and cease to amaze me that there's a number of schools throughout the United States that still exercise corporal punishment. So anyway, I said, well, let me research it deeper. So first, my royal family, I'm going to read an article, and then I have 2 videos to play for the royal family. Now, this is dated January 24th, 2018. A Texas school district will allow its campuses to inflict corporal punishment upon misbehaving students. On January 23rd, the Three Rivers Independent School District Board approved a measure allowing its students to physically harm disobedient students for minor infractions with a paddle, reports U.S. Today. The school district oversees 2 schools, about 700 students. The motion was voted 6-0 and states only a school principal or campus behavior coordinator can inflict the punishment with parental consent. If the parents are not comfortable with it, that's the end of discussion, Superintendent Mary Springs said. Now, y'all know I don't always read these whole ass articles because I like to get to what's important. I don't like reading gobbly goop. That's pretty much what I call it. Let me see here. And I will be putting this article, I'll be pinning it if anybody want to read it. Let me see. Did I leave out anything? That is pretty much it. The rest of it I'm not interested in, but I will leave it there for the royal family to read. Now, what I did as I was doing my research, my royal family, I found a video. And this video is dated March 16th, 2012. Now, this is what I have learned about this system. When they want to start reinforcing or re-implementing whatever they want, they'll start doing experiments. And if you pay attention over time, then eventually it's implemented. So I did start out saying in my research, I think it's 24 states that have never abolished corporal punishment. Now, I'm not saying that they have exercised it, but it was still on the books. So anyway, I'm going to play this video, this first video, and then we're going to go to the present.
Spanking in school. Today we learned that more than 200,000 children encounter corporal punishment every year, though the real number could be much higher. So the question tonight, how much is too much, and where would you draw the line? Dan Harris dives into this debate.
13-year-old Peyton Lewis is an honor student and an athlete. But Peyton says when he failed a science test earlier in this school year, his teacher told him to meet out in the hallway.
He said, well, my daddy beat me, I beat my children, so that's what I'm about to do to y'all.
How many times did he hit you?
Just once.
Hard?
Yes.
Very hard?
Extremely.
Peyton says this was the result.
I was crying. I was in extreme pain.
He shows me his bottom. As soon as I looked at it, it was just like rage from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet.
His mother went to the principal, the police, even the prosecutor here in this tiny Alabama town.
I was even told by a lady at the district attorney's office, we prosecute less child abuse than this every day, but they can't prosecute this.
That's because Peyton's paddling was done by a teacher. In 20 states, it is perfectly legal for a teacher to hit a child. According to congressional testimony, up to 20,000 students a year request medical treatment after corporal punishment. Generally, the injuries involve bruising and broken blood vessels.
All of the black states are states where it's legal.
Enter Mark Echo, the super-rich street fashion designer. Echo has long been interested in education issues, and when he heard that corporal punishment was still legal, he decided to act. Starting today, he's putting up billboards and launching this website and mobile app, which he hopes will allow tens of thousands of young people to bombard lawmakers with emails, faxes, and phone calls. This is what is actually used?
This is a wooden board or a paddle, and this is the kind of device of choice.
We went to the school superintendent with photos of Peyton's injuries to get answers. How could this happen? We're doing a story about paddling in the school, and we're trying to find out whether you think that this is acceptable.
Sir, I don't have any comment for you. Don't appreciate the way you came in. Think you're highly unprofessional. Have a good day.
So you're
Have a good day, sir.
Peyton's school says it has now stopped paddling. Peyton and his mom are not satisfied. They are suing. They say their goal is not only to get Peyton's teacher fired, but also to change the law.
You know, you can't even hit a dog. You can't hit a prisoner, but you can hit my child because he made a bad grade. Makes me crazy.
Dan Harris, ABC News, Rainsville, Alabama.
All right, my royal family. Before I play the other video, I'm going to read this meme to the royal family. At this time in the United States, the only people who can smack someone on the buttocks as part of their paid professional duties are school teachers, prostitutes, and performers in the pornographic film industry. Just thought I would put that there. So anyway, my royal family. Now, when I was in school, because I'm 52, they had corporal punishment, but it wasn't in all the schools, because I did get paddled once, I remember, in school. But when my mother was in school and my father was in school, they would tear their ass up. And that was a different era, that was a different time. You know, I would hear the stories about not only would you get it at school, you would get it at home. Not necessarily your mother and father would tear your behind up. And it was acceptable in the schools, but we are in a different time and era, my royal family. And this shows you about how the system gets down. All of a sudden, when I was in school, in my social studies classes, and I have mentioned this, they had said that if my parents hit me, here is a number to call because that is abuse. And they also told me that my parents was not allowed in my bedroom because that was my personal property. And my dear sweet mother, bless her heart, she was a small woman. She said, I run this whole fucking house. And, you know, my mother was old school. And my mother, I got my behind tore up from time to time, but my mother was not the type of parent to just put your hands on you. And my father never did. I was afraid of him. So I'm going to cross that man. And then I have children myself. And some got it, some didn't. But I'm not a person that 100% believe in it. Some children need it, some don't. But that is not just the answer. I'm just keeping it core with the royal family like I always do. So now the time and era that we are in, you got these damn teachers blatantly fucking the students. We're going to keep it core. We grown up in here. The men and the women. And it's usually the caucasoids. And so now they want to put back on the books in other states or reinforce it throughout the United States, because when one school do it, then the other ones are sitting on the sideline and they want to do it. And it's actually a backfire in their face, because when I was in school again in junior high in 1978, you know, they like to experiment in this country. So by them telling these students that if your parents do A, B, C, and D, you can call basically the government in your house. So they're governing your interpersonal households. So then what ended up happening, my royal family, over time, and even black folks started doing it, was they didn't want to lose their jobs. So they stopped putting their hands on their kids, and these children became more and more unruly. And now it's like, damn, the parents can't control them. So then that energy goes to the school, and the kids can mouth you off, call you a bunch of motherfucker bitches as hoes, sub to put their hands on you too as well, and you can't discipline. So now you want to implement it back. But we are in a different time and era, because you will not put your fucking hands on our royals. Because ultimately, in the end, the royal family always get the worst end of whatever aggressions, whatever isms this country has against us. So no, corporal punishment is not an option in the schools. And we need the government out of our households. Now, I fully believe that we need to fully discipline our kids. And again, I'm reinforcing that just putting your hands on them is not always an option. So you see this big old kid, and that was back in 2012. Like I said, they do experiments. And you see white folks always go to the extremes when they put in their hands on these kids. Now, the thing that's ironic to me, my royal family, the cops are coming in and slamming them against the wall, throwing them by the neck, handcuffing them. They had a 17-year-old girl last week. She was handcuffed and slammed by a cop. And then remember a few short years ago, that cop took that girl by the neck and slung her across the room. And they showed it over and over and over again, because they like that type of stuff. And I said to myself, as I was picking up on the energy, I said, more black folks gonna start taking their babies out of these schools. And I've been saying to the royal family that all we're doing is gift wrapping our royals and sending them to the enemy, so they have full range to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Now, the other component that they are adding is, well, they want the parents to sign something to say it's cool to whoop their ass. On top of that, that's like to justify it, and that's also to protect them legally. And we know that we got a lot of coon ass parents, and they want to kiss up to these teachers too. Believe it or not, you would be amazed how many of our own would sign that paper and say it's all right to beat your child's ass, because we are not taking care of our immediate situation in our households, and a lot of our children now are unruly in the houses. And we know this, but I just wanted to lay out how we got there. And it started in my era, that it was okay, that it was not okay to discipline them at all. The thing was to just put them in a corner for timeout. I mean, they got so crazy with it. They said, you better not even holler at your kid. Say you ain't even called them out their name. Better not even holler. See, that's the government in your household. And then you got these snot-nosed ass kids know they can call whoever they want to call when you are not cooperating with them. You're feeding and clothing their unruly asses. So see, this is direct result of them always sticking their nose in our business. But ultimately, it's always about the royal family, because they always want to be in our inner personal households. So anyway, my royal family, I have a very short video to bring y'all up to date on the very thing that I'm talking about.
County, the Three Rivers Independent School District has approved corporal punishment in the classroom.
3 News reporter Stephen Cavazos is live in the studios with why paddles will be allowed. Stephen, any objection to this from parents?
We're seeing a mixed response this morning, John Thomas and Kristen. Now, this policy would allow for a campus behavior coordinator or principal to deliver that corporal punishment upon parental consent. Now, students will receive 1 paddling for minor incidences like not following the classroom rules. Our Board of Trustees approved the new disciplinary action during a meeting on Tuesday, and the votes were 6-0 with 1 trustee not being present. 3 News did catch up with students from Three Rivers before the motion was passed, and some were clearly divided on the idea.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, the kids need to learn lessons somehow. I don't think that it'll be a good outcome just because, like, you spank them or something, like, it doesn't really help them.
And Three Rivers ISD is now one of 27 independent school districts in Region 2 that allow for corporal punishment. Now, this new policy is set to take effect at the start of the school year. Head over to our KIII Facebook page and let us know your thoughts. John Thompson, Chris, and I just checked the page a little while ago. And of course, we're already seeing those mixed reaction from parents this morning.
That's right, Stephen. I'm looking right now, and they are sounding off. Jay Flores says this is great. Glad to see at least 1 school district has the fortitude to bring back this type of discipline. Lucas Cruz, though, says child abusers. So,
Okay, my royal family. Let me go back here. So, my royal family, how do you feel about it? Let's get deep into this, because you know how this will affect us. I want the royal family to always do what y'all always do. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words. This is a serious matter. Me overall, even though my children are adults now, we don't need our babies in these schools, because I look deeper into stuff, and this always lead to more abuse of our royals. Our babies don't need to be in these schools. If people are not for homeschooling, we need to have our own schools, because I do agree with they need to have social structure and interact with each other, but we don't need to interact with these people in this system. See, I've been saying repeatedly, my royal family, that either we're going to come together naturally, or by the events that continue to happen in this system, we're going to be brought together by force, because these motherfuckers is dangerous. They even dangerous to their own. Look what they do with their own. Ain't nobody safe in this system, not even animals. You know, I did those 2 videos the other day. Oh, freak nasty. This dude gets away with literally hundreds. He had free range to molest, to abuse hundreds of students. And there was a few young ladies of color, but on a high percentage level, it was a young. And today, when I was just laying there in the bed, I was listening to the raw testimony. One of the victims was a lawyer, and this fool was literally digging in these girls' vaginas and in their anus, talking about that would straighten out whatever issues that they had. Because, you know, when you are in gymnastics, you may tweak your back and all of that. He came up with some cockamamie shit where he can you're supposed to stick your hand up these girls' vaginas while he's pressed up against them with his dick. With some of them, a lot of them, their parents would be in the room. 15, 14, 13, 11, 12-year-old girls. And this dude is doing this for 20 years. These people dangerous. Being in white spaces is dangerous. See, they want to have full range to molest or do whatever they want to do to our royal bodies. Like when we were in captivity, we were just in a different form of captivity. And think about it. We in those on those plantations, work on them plantations hours, and then when you can get a little piece of rest, these nasty motherfuckers are sitting up in the big house, the White House, whatever you want to call it, and the slave master, he can't wait to go to the slave quarters, and some of them was in their house so they can fuck around with you. And even his wife, when the slave master would leave, she chasing black dick. These people don't know how to keep our hands off of us. This is their nature. Their nature is to want to beat on us, molest us, and then they want to put a fancy name and call it corporal punishment. You got me fucked up. My royal family, I cannot emphasize enough that we got to get our royals, and we have to detach from this system as much as possible. And there is a way, because I do it. It's many of us to do it. We do what we got to do in this system, but I don't interact with this system. I work around it. I stay away from them people. But I pay attention to what's going on in the system, and it hurts my heart to know that our royals is out there, all of us. We in danger. These people are dangerous. I keep studying their nature. All of us must continue to fully understand their nature. And what gets on my nerves, my royal family, when we hear story after story after story, when something that happened to one of our royals, and then you see the shit up on the news, and they looking all surprised. The mama looking surprised because one bust you in the head or whatever didn't happen negative to us. And it's like, where the fuck are you? What part of this you don't understand? Why you so surprised that one of them would do what they do to us? Do you know your fucking history? What's wrong with some of us? Why do we keep, with our arrogant asses, keep wanting to incorporate ourselves in this system? I don't blame them looking at us crazy. We come from royal stock. I'm not playing when I say this shit. We air royalty. They don't feel good in their core about ourselves. We come in with that air of royalty, and they lash out because they cannot be us. But then some of us reduce ourselves to raggedy. I'm not joking when I say we come from royal stock, and then all of us don't demonstrate it. We're too busy trying to conform to the system. And they doing everything they can to let us know we don't want you a part of this system. And that is exactly what they supposed to do. I wouldn't want, if I was raggedy, to have royalty around me, airing what they airing. And I already feel hollow within myself, inadequate within myself. I would lash out. We don't fully understand who and what we is. So these motherfuckers sit up and think of horrible shit to do to us. And then we want to act surprised when they want to reinforce corporal punishment. Anyway, my royal family, I'm ranting. Let me get off of here. So anyway, my royal family, do what you do best. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.